Latest paranormal world gossip is this Dan Rivera paranormal investigator that had the Annabelle on some kind of tour suddenly passed away in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania recently. And apparently they're saying that, according to this article, that no official cause of death has been announced. They're conducting the autopsy, so I guess we'll know more once the autopsy is released. But right now, people know the Annabelle doll based off of the movie Conjuring, and I believe like the Annabelle doll was played by this doll, but this is actually not the real Annabelle doll. According to what I've read, they didn't want to. They wouldn't even use even something even similar to the real Annabelle doll because of the fear that they had with that. So
Of the
it's
possession.
yeah. Um yeah, it's wild. And apparently this is the real Annabelle doll. So I think this was actually taken in that museum, the Warrens Museum, I believe, is what this picture is from. And look,
Yeah.
the thing says positively do not touch, basically. But apparently they decided to go on it actually was called the Devil something tour, is what I read. Let
Yeah.
me look for sure. I believe it was called the Devil, like they called it like something like that.
I
I
don't
don't know
remember
if
what
you
it was
know.
called. I forgot what it was called, but if it said like don't move it, like why did they go on tour? That's what I want to know.
They were exploiting a demon for money, I guess. I don't know. Um, yeah, it
Exploiting a
was something
demon
to
for
the Devil tour. Yeah, that's what I said. Exploiting a demon for money. So apparently TMZ had interviewed a friend of this Dan Rivera, and what was said was, so basically this was it. Tragedy struck amid the tour of the real doll that inspired Annabelle, the hit horror film that's a part of the Conjuring franchise. He died unexpectedly while at one of the tour stops, sparking widespread speculation on social media, pointing to the doll as cursed. So everybody's saying it was the doll that killed him. They're speculating that that's what it is. Um, you know,
yeah.
and if the friend said that Dan was a great guy and he's heartbroken. And this is really sad. He said, my opinion and my true honest feelings is not a good thing. Ed and Lorraine Warren were correct that doll was possessed. And again, I think the times we live in, that changed and evolved. But knowing what I know, sometimes it's best to leave things alone. This was supposedly a friend of the Dan guys that said this. Also, he hinted that there was no safe way to contain alleged spirit possessing of the doll. He continued, well, energy is transparent. It goes right through. So what are you actually confining? Nothing. It's a thought that we have. It's a mental thought. But is that really the case, that you're actually confining a spirit, the spirit just going along for the ride? So they had a priest. Did you see the TikTok where they had the priest? So I actually do think there is ways to bind that spirit. I do
Yeah,
believe that. I do believe that they can bind the spirit and keep the spirit confined, because right,
absolutely.
the priest was binding the spirit to the box, to the doll, right?
Yeah.
So, Um
But it needed to stay in the box. Like not be
well
moved.
apparent well they kept it in the box the whole time, and they had the priest on the tour, like
Yeah, but
blessing the box.
But it was a different one. The other one was built specifically for her.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So they moved her
Yeah.
from the original box. So I wonder if this was like the original box here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. And then
Yeah.
this one, that the one they took on the tour, or he's just
I
standing by
think
that?
I don't know what the one looks like that he took on the tour, but I know it's a different one.
Hmm. Yeah. So apparently, what this read was the doll was previously kept in a house museum in Monroe, Connecticut. Why is there so much stuff haunted in Connecticut? Like, there's that
Well,
house. Like, I just think Connecticut is just haunted, period. But
have you
anyway,
been
so
to
it's
Connecticut?
no,
Because
I
it
haven't, but
the whole place looks like not the whole place, but there are a lot of areas that look like scary movies, literally. Like,
I've
I've
never been there. It
yeah.
says that the grandson of Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's where it was. I guess he kept it. The museum was ultimately closed down due to zoning violations, after which Rivera and a team of other paranormal investigators took Annabelle doll on tour before Rivera's death. McKinnell had made eerie comments on social media warning about major consequences that could happen by taking the doll on the tour. So uh there was an investigator. So Chris McKinnell was the grandson of Ed and Lorraine, and he said it probably wasn't a good idea. So, why did they let them?
While they were exploiting it to make money, exploiting a demon, as you say,
Yeah. Yeah.
for money.
Ultimately,
Which,
that's what they were doing. Some money is not good money. Let's just say that. And we
yeah,
know, like, I go to places that are haunted and things like that, but I just think like I wouldn't. That's a line I wouldn't cross.
right.
So yeah, if another medium who has said, "Hey, yo, like, don't mess with this doll." Okay, I'm gonna take your word on that. I'm gonna leave that
Right.
alone.
Right.
So apparently I have this video telling the history of Annabelle for those that don't know, which is really interesting. It was owned by this nurse, and I'm going to let the video play and tell that story because it's actually interesting. But one thing about this video is I want to know, like, where was the doll like before all of that? And I don't know if we can find that information while we're watching this. Let's try to see.
That
Here's the
Raggedy Ann
video.
doll was given to a nurse in 1970 by her mother as a Christmas present. But as most girls do, even 28 years old, she would take the doll to bed with her, wrap her arm around, and go to sleep. I'd do the same thing with a pillow. But then she started taking it to the breakfast nook where the arms one morning went onto the table. Now, she lived with another nurse, and they shared the expenses of the apartment, which was 4 blocks away from Hartford Hospital.
Right.
At that point, they told the girls about the incident, and one said, "I know a medium." So they held a seance that night. That was the beginning of many seances with this doll. They would come home at night, and the woman had told them, the medium, that there was a spirit of a 6-year-old child in the doll by the name of Annabelle, who had been killed outside of their apartment house in an automobile accident. Well, there was such a child, but God does not allow a child's spirit to go into a doll. This was a devil, a demon, inside the doll, which was impersonating the spirit of a child. Well, they treated it like it was a child. They got extra clothing, and they got different types of bracelets and things for it, just treating it like a little girl. They would take it for rides. But then they started to become frightened when things were happening in the house, sounds, knockings, rappings, whispering. And they said, "Oh, Annabelle must want another seance." So they would hold a seance going deeper down that road of no return. Then they would take the doll and put it on the bedroom, in the bed, and they'd leave it there. They'd come home after midnight, the 2 girls, open up the door, and this doll would be standing there waiting for them. Now that doll can't stand. You can see it has very flimsy legs. but I've seen it stand. Now, these are all the diabolical manifestations that we look for. Well, as time went on, one of the fiancés of one of the girls said, get rid of the doll, burn it, throw it away. He wanted to get rid of that doll. He fell asleep one Saturday afternoon. And the doll was put right across from him on a couch. And the girls were fooling around saying, well, now, Annabelle, you help us to clean up. Just like it was a little kid. Yep. All of a sudden, he woke up with a start. He was sweating. He said, my God, he said, what a nightmare I just had. I dreamt that Annabelle there was strangling me, and he had marks on his throat. Was it psychosomatic? Well, he walks over to the doll, he picks it up, and looks at it, and throws it right across the room. You're nothing but a rag doll. You couldn't hurt anyone. With that, 7 slashes appeared on his body, 4 in the chest and 3 on the stomach. The blood came right through his shirt. Now they were all frightened. Things were flying around the room. They called the High Episcopal Canon in Hartford. He called Father Richard Nolan. Father Nolan called us. We went to the house. Exorcism was performed immediately in the home and over the people. I took the doll back to my home here, where it's in the museum now. At one time, I had it just sitting in a chair. But a priest came here one day and he said, Ed, this doll is supposed to be infested by devils. He picks the doll up and he throws it across the room, just like the young man in the house. God is more powerful than the devil. I said, yes, Father, you're right. God is more powerful than the devil, but no priest is, no man. On his way home in a brand new car on Route 84, the car went out of control, almost head on into a tractor-trailer truck. It was demolished, and the priest was almost killed. The last thing he remembered seeing was that doll. A detective, a homicide detective that Lorraine and I were working with, wanted to see the museum. We work on many cases where children are murdered or whatever. And he came down, he looked all over, and he said, you know, Ed, of all the things here, I can't take my eyes off that doll. At that time, it was still in a chair. The phone rang. I said, I'll be right back. Don't touch anything in this room. Everything in here is unholy, unblessed, the opposite of what you would find in a church. Well, I wasn't even up there talking for 10 minutes when I heard him coming up the stairs. He had to come through the passageway into the Halloween room and up into the kitchen. This man was a huge guy. He was about 6'3", 250 pounds, used to seeing grisly sights. He was sweating. He couldn't speak. He was trembling. I thought he was having a heart attack. I told him to sit down and I'd call an ambulance. He said, no, Ed, it isn't that. I said, well, what's wrong? I don't want to talk about it. That's what he said. I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes a little macho and cops, right. You know. Sure. And Lorraine walked in, and he looked at Lorraine, and I guess he found it easier to talk to a woman than a man. He said, I'll tell her about it, but I don't want her to ever talk about it again. Well, she didn't have to. The doll had been in a chair over in one corner of this room. When I came in, the doll was over in another corner on the floor. Everything had been knocked over, like there was a terrible struggle here. There was a terrible struggle. This man had picked that doll up. His aura had mingled with the aura of that doll, and something so terrible occurred that he resigned from the police department 3 months later and moved to California. Is that right? A young man came in here one day with a bunch of college students, and after I told him about the doll and many other things, he came over here. I was standing over in the other corner. He started tapping on this glass and said, I don't believe any of this is a bunch of hooey. He said, if that doll can do anything, let it do something to me right now. Put a slash on me. I put him out of the building. He was on a motorcycle. 3 hours later, he was dead. The girl that he was with said that he was laughing about the doll when the motorcycle, just like the car, went out of control, hit a tree, and killed him instantly. The girl was in the hospital for over a year. You can never challenge devils.
Don't mess with the devil, that's for sure, huh?
Well, that was scary. I got goosebumps. And it's midnight, so now I'm gonna be scared.
Yeah, me too.
This isn't just like one person telling a story. This is multiple people from different backgrounds, even a police officer who, you know, it's multiple people that has encountered this spirit and this energy. So what I was reading while it was playing was that the original people that owned it was Donna, a nursing student, and her roommate Angie. And and the doll was a gift from Donna's mother in 1970. So apparently that's what the history is, and that's all I found. So I've wondered, like, where did her mom find the doll, like things like that. I guess I'll have to research a little more on that. But I remember you were talking about somebody with the car. That was the priest.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew somebody. I thought somebody did get hit by a car, though. I thought maybe I'm mixing up the stories with something else that's haunted, but I assumed that it was like a little girl that got hit, holding Annabelle. But this was before the 1970s, so, um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. And she was with her family on the side of the road, so maybe that might be something else. But why? I don't know. I just don't. I still just don't understand why people are bringing it around the United States, because now our world's in chaos. So
Yes, so if you remember when the guy is telling the story, I guess this is before they had the doll in the box. They just had it in the thing. But they said that one guy that crashed on the motorcycle was tapping on the glass, provoking it, and the doll was
yeah,
still able to harm him. So was that box really confining that spirit? Makes you wonder,
right,
right?
right,
And then
yeah.
what about people? They're taking this doll. Not only was they taking the doll places, they was taking the doll like to haunted places. They took it to like an asylum or something, I believe. They took it to New
Mhm.
Orleans. Everybody knows New Orleans is haunted.
Well, New Orleans, and it burned up that one old mansion that was
The
like slave
plantation
quarter.
home.
Yeah, and that place
Yeah.
burned up when it was down there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, these are like little signs, like why, and like, weren't they in Texas when it went missing? And like now Texas's weather with the floods, I'm just saying, like there's something attached to that and it needs to be harnessed in one space. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything too
And
crazy because I
then,
don't want it coming after me.
yeah. Well, even and then in Gettysburg, then the guy dies. So it's like, yeah. I know from instances, like, okay, so like me being a medium and then the paranormal guys. I've worked alongside paranormal people and I love my paranormal people. So this is not talking shit on the paranormal people, but they do have a superiority complex when it comes to spirit sometimes, and they, because they have a different, and they provoke spirits. Some of them provoke spirits, or they feel like they're more in control than the spirit world, some of our paranormal guys. And I just know that from being around different paranormal people. So, but there are some really great ones. I know some really, really great ones that are very respectful and they have a lot of knowledge. But then there are the ones, and even when I had interviewed with the demonologist, she talked about one of the paranormal people with her that was provoking a spirit in a place where they actually used to keep like mental patients and things like that, and he was provoking spirit there. So she had told me, and the spirit actually ended up pushing him, and like, because he was provoking. So I think that sometimes these paranormal guys can feel like they have more power than the spirit world, and I think like we all have to have like a sense of respect for the spirit world. Like,
Absolutely.
I think that we should have been rolling her out for a world tour. I just
No,
like, I think she should have been left put. Like, leave
yeah.
her where
I
she's at.
think I think that was a big mistake for sure.
Uh,
No.
and just like yeah, so the guy's story was interesting though, hearing like the different things that have happened. So, I do believe that in the spirit world there is good and there is darker energies. It's kind of like the yin and the yang. We have it here, we have it everywhere. It's good and bad,
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I
But
don't know what that spirit is, or what. I really don't really want to know at this point. Like, I
right.
because I encounter lots of places that are haunted, and um like where there's spirits that do things, or they touch people, or they grab people, or they do certain things. But this is like on another level. Like, this
Yeah.
is like, yeah.
But
um
like, okay, so you say you don't know what it is, right? Like, and you don't want to know, but like if it's a I'm just trying to figure out like if it's a demon, or has like let's say devilish entities, attached to it. Like,
right.
it, like, energy doesn't go away, right? Energy never
It's
dies,
what
right?
I said. It's transparent. It can go through. Like, it's
Right.
kind of like back to the guy tapping on the glass that wrecked on the motorcycle
Right. But does
and
does it
died.
mean that, like, since she was moved, does that mean that it can be transferred into, let's say, someone else, like an actual, like, physical being, like a person that's alive, right? And then, like, that continue to, like, transfer through to multiple people because the entity or whatever, the energy is so, like, there's so much of it, you know what I mean? And because it's
Right.
like a negative thing, like, what, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's scary. That scares me a lot to think about, period.
I don't want to connect with that at all. So, yeah. I try
I
to,
think,
like, not connect with those things. So,
right. And like, wouldn't, like, all those people that saw it, since like that guy was just provoking it by like tapping on the glass, right? Like, if he can do something to somebody who, like, actually, like, didn't even touch it and it was supposed to be protected, can you imagine now that it was moved, the amount of people that it's able to reach?
yeah. Yeah. That's like that's another level. But
Yeah.
I think during that time they didn't have it blessed, or did they? I don't know. Was it blessed or bound to that thing yet when the guy tapped on it? I'm not sure. So maybe there's a difference here.
Maybe. I
I
don't
have no
know.
idea. Yeah,
But
cuz I don't know. I
no.
know, like, yeah, they like this is supposed I well, that's the guy right there,
Mhm.
and that's the one that passed away.
Yeah.
So it's sad, and I really feel bad for his family and everything. But you know, I
Was
we
was
don't really
he
know. We don't really know.
yeah,
The
I don't
cause of
know.
death isn't released yet. But could you have to think about it when you're dealing with something so negative, or such negative spirits. It's like negative energy. If you're constantly around negative energy, it can make you sick.
Right.
Right? Like, if you're surrounded with negativity all the time, it's kind of
Right.
like people say, like, you could say all kinds of bad things to like a plant, and then the plant will die, or you can speak positivity. So it's kind of very similar. Like, it's like negativity is negativity. Like, if you're constantly like around it, and you're like, then like maybe it could attack or play on your health, even if it was
Mhm.
a heart attack. Like, could it have been because we could say, oh, the guy just crashed on the motorcycle and he died. We could just say, yeah, that's a coincidence. but is it?
Right.
Like, we
Right.
don't know. The priest, like, crashed his car. Like, is that a coincidence? We don't know. Like, it's too many like coincidences going on here with crazy things happening. And then
Yeah.
the people in the beginning, getting scratches and, crazy things like that. I don't know. The movies kind of creep me out anyways, like all of those movies. So,
Yeah. I tried
yeah,
to watch
I
that
just,
Annabelle movie. No. No. That's that's a bit too, and I don't like to watch scary stuff, but I have been watching the stuff about Annabelle on TikTok, so
yeah, that's
but no.
crazy. And her being on this tour is just, I thought it was a joke when they said she was I think you sent me the videos and said she was
I
on tour or
did.
something. I'm like, is
I
this
did.
real life? Like, is this is really happening in 2025? Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot. So,
Right.
another interesting thing about the video that we watched was they said I guess their first medium they used thought that it was a kid that was
Yeah.
in the body. So it's like this thing was manipulating and pretending to be other spirits and actually tricked the medium, the
Right.
first medium. And then
Which
the
leads
other
me to
medium, which I think
believe that
was
it's
Lorraine. What are you
mhm.
looking at?
I saw something move over there and I got like scared.
But then Lorraine said that no, 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 no. And they're saying, no, a child, wouldn't, you know, be, sentenced to a doll or something like that. So yeah.
So it's a trickster. It's a trickster spirit somehow, you know,
Right.
that it's able to do
So do you
that.
think maybe some people go there and see the doll and they don't feel uncomfortable with it because maybe they're feeling that innocent energy with it. And they're like, "Oh, it feels
Possibly.
innocent," you know?
Yeah, just like with the medium thinking it's a kid. Absolutely. I think that's a possibility. But then that's like, how powerful is that thing and what is it truly?
Right. I don't think that it's definitely like it's not anything that was a human spirit for sure. I just don't believe that. It's definitely some type of very negative entity. But the thing is like who had it before Donna's mom? That's what I need to know.
I thought it was
I'm
the
gonna
little
look it
girl.
up.
I'm so serious.
It doesn't say. It just at a hobby. It says her mother purchased the Raggedy Ann doll at a hobby store. Is that like
Yeah.
a thrift store?
A hobby store? I guess.
Yeah.
No, no, I don't know. A hobby store? My
Yeah, that's what it
computer's tripping
said.
out. I just tried to Google it and like it froze my computer. So I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Oh.
I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I don't need to know.
Um, it's a hobby store. What is a hobby store? That makes me think of like Hobby Lobby. Huh.
Well, that's like a craft store. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. Like it just says online that she purchased it at a hobby store. The Annabelle doll history.
yeah.
Yeah, so there was two mediums. The first medium was the one that thought that it was a kid. And then the Warrens. Well, they called the other medium. They called a priest was called into the apartment after Lou's attack. And then the Warrens also came. It said Annabelle's main goal, according to the Warrens, Annabelle's main goal was to take possession of Donna's soul. They said Annabelle was a demon and she was attached to the doll. The Warrens said that the demons don't possess items or things. Instead, they possess people.
Mm. But
It says when they took the doll, they said they took back roads instead of the main roads because they thought that she would cause an accident. They both agreed that it would be best to drive home on the back roads, worried that if they drove on the main highways, that Annabelle would find a way to cause an accident. Sure enough, they were plagued with car problems the whole way home. The power steering failed and the brakes failed. This was with the Warrens. And the engine of the car kept stalling. The problem ceased for a little while once Ed Warren sprinkled Annabelle with some holy water.
oh my goodness. And they were taking the doll around in a car?
They said even when Ed had the doll, they thought that they could. Ed put the doll on the desk thinking she'd be safe. It says soon she showed them that she was really made of. Annabelle was seen rising from the desk, levitating. Soon that activity slowed down and stopped, and the Warrens thought perhaps the demon had quit. But she was soon found in different rooms of the house moving around. So they called a priest, but he didn't seem to take it too seriously. That was the priest that they were talking about that got into the
Yeah.
accident. He did
Yeah.
survive.
Wow.
They said that the Warrens built that case to keep her from getting free and roaming around.
Mm-hmm. But so with that case, it was just to stop her from moving, like it wasn't to stop her from possessing other things still?
No, I mean that was it too, but that's why they called a priest in to
And they had the
bless
priest
it and
pray over,
bind it.
yeah, over it regularly,
Yeah.
right? Isn't it like a
Right,
regular
right.
thing?
Yeah, apparently the priest always had to like come in and, take care of this, like bind this thing in there because like you said, energy is energy. So now
Mm-hmm.
it makes you wonder with this death, has the energy came out?
Well, if they're moving it around, it has to have come out
Right.
because you're moving something that has that kind of powerful energy. Like how you think you're able to
Right.
keep it contained, especially if you moved it from where it was originally and it was still able to access people and do harm to them, but now you're moving it all over the states. That's that's pretty crazy. And that
Yeah.
that guy, I feel so bad, like I don't know. The Dan guy, Dan Rivera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just too much. And was he one of the people? That's one thing I did want to know. Was he one of the people that was handling it a lot, or was he just like along for the
Yeah.
ride? He
He was
was?
the one. Yeah, he was the one that took it on the tour.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Well,
they said the doll was not in the hotel room where he died. But neither was the doll when the person wrecked, when the priest wrecked. The doll wasn't
right,
around them at the time.
right.
So
So it could definitely
there,
still access him.
because they're saying, oh, well, it wasn't around. Okay, well, it wasn't around when the first guy crashed on the bike. It wasn't around when the other guy, the priest, wrecked his car. So, I mean, can this energy like follow like once you make contact with it, can the energy, can like maybe a piece of the energy like attach to you or something and then follow you and things like that. There's
Right.
so many like, can it, will it, could it, there's so many if ands, question marks,
Right.
like, because it's interesting. It's interesting. I said from the beginning I didn't think they should be moving that doll around.
Yeah.
And
As soon as
I go to haunted places, and I was like, yeah,
yeah.
no, they shouldn't be moving that doll around. We shouldn't be exploiting demons for money. Like,
No.
I don't
No.
care how much money this doll can make you.
No. And that's why I sent you
So,
that, because I couldn't believe that they were taking Annabelle on tour. That's insane. And then they lost her. Didn't they lose her
yeah.
for a while? Or was that like
I
a
heard
hoax?
room.
Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But
but
she
how are
has
you
a history of
gonna?
doing that. She
So
has a
if
history of doing that, moving and things like that.
she was missing for a little bit, I do remember people talking about that. I don't know the validity behind that, but I did see people saying that.
Yeah. Apparently this guy was like 54 is what I just read.
Oh.
Yeah.
54 completion,
Yeah.
because it's 5 plus 4 is 9. It's so
It's
sad.
interesting.
Right. Oh my goodness, no. But yeah, they
I mean,
need to
they're
put her
saying that the
back.
coroner confirms, that the doll was not present when they found him, addressing the online speculation that the doll killed him. Okay, but again, like the doll was not present when the priest left the Warren's
Yeah.
house. The doll was not present when that guy on the bike left the Warrens as well. So there's too many coincidences with people either dying, almost dying, or
Mm-hmm.
their cars getting messed up or things happening to them while they're dealing with this doll. So um yeah, and the Warren said that the whole thing that the doll wanted was to possess that lady Donna and whoever they wants a human host. It doesn't want the doll,
Absolutely.
it wants the human. So I do feel like people going and visiting that doll and giving it energy, like when they was touring with it, and you're
Mm-hmm.
taking it and you're exploiting it and you're having people come in and people are creeped out and people are giving it energy.
Yep.
I do think that gives that thing energy. Yes. So how
Yeah.
do we know it wasn't making it stronger as people were going and visiting it?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Because that's what happens at a lot of like haunted places. You go in there with paranormal teams, and I know this from experience, and you start giving these spirits energy, you start giving energy, and if you're scared and things like that, it just like gets things going in even more. So, but if there's no energy to give it and nobody's there, well, there's nothing to happen because there's nobody
Right.
there to give any energy. So if
Right.
if the doll's just sitting there, there's no energy. But you
Right.
got people getting scared, you got people getting creeped out, you got people coming in there excited, you got all these different energies with this doll. Like,
Right.
no, I think those people going and seeing that doll 100% was giving it energy, was feeding
Oh
life
yeah.
back into whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Oh,
As
I
the
believe
Warren
that.
said, it was demonic or whatever. I mean, and some people say it's all a hoax. I mean, some people say that. I think that's a crazy hoax, and I think that there's truth to all of this. I think there's too many people that have had coincidences happen
Right.
around that doll. And you know what? That's enough for me to say, you know what? I'm going to leave that alone.
Right, right. And that should be
Like,
how
you don't
things
got to.
go.
The guy said, the friend of this Dan guy said that they need to stop this tour. And I think just out of pure, like, respect for the guy, for the Dan Rivera guy, I think they should stop the tour for his
Yeah.
family. And even just because they should definitely stop this tour. Now I'm not sure because I haven't caught up with all the gossip about it and like if they're going to continue the tour. Because I think he was one of the main guys. I'm not really sure who all was along this tour, how many people they had. I don't know.
Hmm.
I know they had the priest doing stuff, but I don't know. But
Right.
I think they should stop the tour. I
They
definitely do.
definitely should. They definitely should stop the tour. Like, and like, I just find it really crazy that like a few of the places that they visited are having some like crazy natural disasters and fires. Like, I don't like knowing the history of Annabelle, and she goes through that state, and all of a sudden these things happen. Yeah, I think it's kind of putting other people who are not choosing to be around that in danger when, I don't think anyone
Right.
should be in danger, but it's kind of making it a little bit, but that's my own personal beliefs that these crazy things are happening because
I
Annabelle is going
guess, we
through.
don't know. We don't know. Like
Right,
that's the thing. The problem is that a lot of people don't know. That's the thing. They don't
right.
know what type of power this thing has. They don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like we have these paranormal people that are like, yeah, it's a spirit, whatever. It's a demon, but maybe there's levels to this that
Right.
even as spiritual people, even as mediums, that we're not, we like I can't sit here and say that I know everything because I don't know everything. There's things that I feel like I know what spirit allows me to know, and that's it.
Hmm.
If there's I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling that if they continue with this doll, I have a bad feeling from the beginning. I said it. I said they need to put that doll up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
get that thing, the devil's tour or whatever, the devil crawl. I don't know what they were calling it, but I don't want anything to do with that. Like,
Me either.
no.
And remember I was telling you, I was like, I hope that thing doesn't make its way out here. I was like, I really hope it doesn't because like I don't want to be here in case something happens. I don't want to be anywhere near it, honestly.
I don't think it came to California, but I don't even know. I don't even know where it's going, like where the tour was supposed to go. Apparently, it was just a few states or something. They said
Right.
they had it in somebody's house in Texas or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Or
But
is that where she showed up? I don't know because there was something like there's so many different stories. Like I don't think I have because TikTok, people fill it with like a bunch of different
right,
stories. So like I don't know if
right.
this is necessarily true, but is that where they supposedly found her was in somebody's house or was it just held up there?
I have. I thought that it was just touring and their house was one of the places it stopped or something. But like I said, I'm not going to sit on here and say I have facts. Like, how much are
I
people
don't
paying to
know.
go see this thing?
I don't know. How
Like,
much are they paying?
I don't know. I'm about to look. How much are the Annabelle tickets? The Annabelle tour tickets?
I wonder if
Let's
it's like
see.
$60.
It's probably like 66 or something.
Something,
Something real crazy.
right? Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Can't find
my
anything.
connection is making really weird noises right now, and it's starting to creep me out a little bit.
It looks like Meet the Real Annabelle. It says $50. This is in September too. Oh,
Really?
so apparently, it's going to Augusta. Like, let me see. Um, it's showing $50 to go see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it says $99 for full access. What does full access mean?
I don't know. I'm reading the reviews. You're telling me not only do they have this thing, they got other haunted things coming along? Like,
Oh
what?
my gosh.
This is too much. I
And
can't.
then the one,
Anyways,
okay, the Annabelle, the Gettysburg one was sold out completely when they were on tour. Oh my gosh, people are really like, wow.
these people were disappointed that it was only 4 hours on the reviews.
Wait, they wanted more time with her?
I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. It's called the Devils on the Run tour. No.
That's too much. Um,
And
okay,
yeah, it's
well, so
$50.
apparently it's still on tour. So we don't know. I guess it's going to Augusta or something next.
Yeah.
In September. So
Hmm.
if you want to go see Annabelle, I mean, she's still on tour apparently. So for
Yeah.
$50, um, that actually seems a little cheap. I'm just
Right.
saying, like, I don't
$50 for
know.
possible possession. Go for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
They're exploiting like demonic things like that is going on a US tour. And like obviously it's just a US tour because I don't think they're putting it on a plane and like flying it around. Oh,
girl,
apparently they're driving,
the
right?
plane would crash. I'm serious. If they was in a plane, I think that would be so hazardous. I don't think that they'll even allow it to get on a plane, honestly. And if they do, I need to know when so I can make sure I am nowhere near where that plane is going to be, nor am I on a plane. Oh my goodness. No. She can't fly. No. No.
No, she's going by car apparently.
Oh my
So, um,
gosh.
but you know, a lot of those roads are like dark and wooded, like they're you know because they're in Pennsylvania. So it's a lot of curvy, dark roads out there. So I don't know. I would not want to be a part of that. That is just too much. But if anybody who listens to this, if you want to see her, she's going to be in Augusta in September, and you can see her for $50. That's it, $50. So
$50. Yeah.
I
Be
would say
careful.
no, but hey, you do you. There's
Right.
way better paranormal things that you can do than that's safer than
Hmm.
to see Annabelle. So definitely look
Yeah.
into like an alternative. That is really cheap because I know paranormal people that do paranormal tours, and their paranormal tours are way more expensive than that, and
Right.
you're not going to get possessed
Yeah.
potentially on their
Right.
tours. You might
Right.
hear spirit, you might experience a little bit of scariness, but ultimately you're most likely not getting possessed. So
Right.
$50 is that seems like that's a little too cheap for such
A little bit.
yeah, it should. I don't know. I mean, how do you put a price on a demon? Like, I don't know.
I
I have
don't
no
know
idea.
either. I don't either. And
And like,
yeah,
is this thing is definitely enjoying this tour, I'm sure.
it's taking up all the other people's energy. Yeah. Hmm.
And
And
could it find its
possibly,
potential host? I need to know what happens to these people after this tour. Like, I need to know, like, I need to like have someone come on that's been to the tour. Maybe, I don't,
yeah.
but I
Oh my
think I'm
gosh.
about done talking about Annabelle tonight. So
Yeah, me too.
I
Now it's
need to
time to go
sleep.
to sleep.
Yes. So now we got to give ourselves happy thoughts. And I do want to say, like, my condolences to this Dan Rivera's family. That is really sad.
Yeah,
You know, I know the paranormal guys, they're not scared of anything. Like, they do not care. Like, they're just not scared. And that's probably how he was, you know? I mean, if anything,
hmm
he did die doing something he loved. I'm sure he loved it and everything. But at the end of the day, like, this should give us cautionary that sometimes the spirit world, you know, is very unpredictable. And I
right.
mean, we really don't know what happened. We don't know. It's all speculation right now. But for me,
Yeah,
I said from the beginning, no, they put
right.
that. I was like, what are they doing with that thing?
Yeah, put her back. It's time. It's time. She needs to go back. Take her back home, put her in her thing, and maybe get a couple of priests to like
Yeah,
bless her,
yeah,
so she can,
yeah.
I
We
don't
need
know,
like a
stay.
hundred of them. 100 of them
Right.
blessing it. Yeah,
Something.
yeah, yeah. But
So,
thank you for
yeah.
coming on and talking to me about this and
You're
listening to the
welcome.
story.
You're welcome.
Um,
I'm glad I
but
could
if
participate a
anyone
little bit.
but if anyone has went to this, I am very curious of your experiences. Definitely hit me up. I definitely want to know if anyone has been to this, you know, thing. I want to hear that experience and that perspective. That would be very interesting
Yeah.
to hear.